His story didn't start in a boardroom, it started washing dishes. Today, I'm joined by Robert Kelbert, attorney, philanthropist, and founder whose journey is a powerful example of what happens when discipline meets purpose. From rejection to building his own university and even creating his own last name, Robert's story challenges the idea that we're defined by where we come from. Let's get into it. Hi, Robert.
How are you?
Excellent. So happy to be here with you today. I've seen you evolve throughout the years. Now I see you on billboards, opening universities, changing your name. So I'm excited to learn more and from our audience to learn more about what's going on.
Of course.
You formerly went by Robert Dominguez.
Yes, ma'am.
Now you are Robert Kelbert.
Yes, I am.
Because you made the powerful decision to change your name. What did that transformation represent for you? Not just legally, but emotionally and spiritually. How did you come up with this name also?
Long story, but we have all the time in the world.
Yes, we do.
So we opened the university, Kelbert University. It's a representation of my wife and myself, Robert and Kelly. And after opening the school and having over 250 students, I kind of felt like I had to give something back to the students that trusted the school, right? Because it's a brand new university and you have to be crazy to go to a brand new school, right? We have no good reputation or bad reputation.
Where is it? Where is it?
It's here in Miami and it's online, but it's a school that's brand new. So if you're applying to a school that's brand new in Miami, most of the times you're like, is this even real? Is this a school? Where's the fraud, right?
Right.
So you're really thinking with that Miami mentality. And to have students trust me and join my school, I said, look, I guarantee you guys something. The name of your degree, it's my last name. If the school is good, that's phenomenal. You had a good scholarship. If the school's bad, write reviews everywhere, talk bad about us, and that's my family's name. I guarantee you, I'm not going to let you talk bad about my kids. Because my kids, my wife, we all changed the last name to Kelbert. So when you Google Kelbert, it's either good stuff or bad stuff, and that's my commitment to you, right? I'm not taking your money. I'm not here to do a school that's not real. I'm not here to promise you and under-deliver. I'm here to stay. And the legacy of the school is my last name. And the students were like, holy cow, like this is serious for you, right? Because you're setting yourself up either for success or for failure. And that was one side. The other side is with my wife. I tell her, look, your family has a phenomenal last name. And I think it's very macho, right? That you give up your father's last name, which is a phenomenal human, to take my last name. From a last name that to me meant nothing because my father was never in my life. So you're letting go of your last name to take one that to me means nothing, right? Because that's just how things work in life.
Right.
And you say, no, your kids and my kids come from us. So I want to start a last name that is you and me, not the name of the male, right? The alpha. Here's Dominguez, you are Dominguez.
Or tradition, or how it's supposed to be.
This family started with you and with me, so we're Kelbert. And we have kids, and we both raise kids. And it's both of our names. So 100 years from now, the Kelberts were you and me, not just me. And she was like, that's crazy, but sounds good, do it.
And is there anything going on in the education system nowadays that inspired you to start a university?
Yeah, absolutely.
And is there anything that you wanted the education to be different from the standard?
So when I went to school, I had perfect grades. I had many opportunities that people didn't have, right? I had really good grades. I studied my whole life here. And even then, me without kids, 17 years old, no debt, amazing scholarships, I was still rejected by many schools.
Right.
So then I figured, what is this? If I have really good grades and a high GPA and good test scores, why can't these big Ivy League schools accept me? And I realized it's a game, right? Who am I? Who's my family? What can I do for them? What can they do for them? And they'll take me. But I was a little kid from Hialeah who worked at restaurants with no background, no resume. She was a good kid with good grades. So they're like, no, you're not accepted. So then I was very...
There's not much you could do for them.
I was very disappointed because I said, hey, I studied my whole life. I took AP classes. I did all kinds of things. I did everything to make my resume look good. And you still didn't even consider me. Why? Right? Because I don't come from a rich family, because I don't come from a powerful family. So that was the first, red flag that I said, okay, I'll go to FIU then, like all this sacrifice and grades and everything, I wanted Harvard. And you guys didn't even acknowledge my application.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with FIU. I'm an alumni.
And listen, I love FIU. I love FIU, and FIU is union school.
And they've come so far.
I love FIU. FIU trusted me, and that's all I wanted. I wanted someone to give me an opportunity, right? But when FIU accepted me, back then, it didn't have the prestige that it has now.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, I could have studied less, had worse grades, not tried that hard, and still got into FIU 20 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. So that was kind of a turnoff, because I really prepared for this. And then the other side was the student debt. That, you're a 20-year-old and they give you student loans for 20 grand and 20 grand and 20 grand and you take it. You're like, sure, give it to me.
And you start a career with an $80,000, $100,000, $200,000.
Grand in debt. So then when I become a human and I graduate, I'm like, 300 grand in debt. And it's compounding interest. So unless you pay it off cash once, you're going to have debt forever. So then many of the people I mentored will tell me, man, school's fraud. School in this country is fraud. It's fake. Why would I go to college if I make 70 grand a year? Like, why would I get in debt 50 grand to get paid 60?
Yeah, I'll just work for Uber.
Right. So, and it makes complete sense. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. They're like, I'm not getting an education because it's going to cost me more than I'm going to make. Because a 4-year degree doesn't guarantee you anything nowadays, right? So you spend 50, 60 grand, 100 grand to get a 4-year degree to then get a job at 60. They're right. So I said, I need to open up a school where they know that I want to help you with the money. Like, for instance, some of my associates, they're paying $1,600. Period. It's a 90% scholarship. If they qualify, $1,600 versus whatever an associate cost.
Correct.
Some of my students in the bachelor's, they're paying $3 grand in total for bachelor's instead of 40, 50, 60,000. I myself, I'm in the MBA program, and I spent a total of $1,200, period, where an MBA program can cost you 30, 40, 50 grand. So
I think I'm going to go to Kelbert University.
And the reason why I can do that is because the government's not involved yet, so there's no scholarships, there's no financial aid. So we fund it, right? We help you with financial assistance. And I have a teacher, and the teacher can teach 100 students. Why would I not give the opportunity to people who need it, right? Why would I burden families that make money saying, hey, you make money, you got to pay? No. Fair across the board, right? If you qualify and you have the grades and you have what it takes, you're going to get the scholarship. And they realized that I wasn't in it for the money. Because if you're paying me $1,200 for a degree that I did, you're definitely going broke here. What's the trick? I'm like, there is no trick. You're trusting my school, right? And I'm giving you the reward of you trusting my school. Right? 20 years from now, nobody that trusted the school before, now you're going to pay top dollar, right?
Speaking of 20 years from now, you've said that a last name can be something we build, not just inherit.
Absolutely.
What do you want Kelbert to stand for 50 years from now?
I think it should be a family that started from 2 hardworking parents who had a vision. They weren't the brightest people, because my wife and I are not the brightest people, right? We're just humble, hardworking.
Yeah, that sounds like something you're instilling in the university.
Yeah, it's like, listen, I would put any of my students in Kelbert against any private school entitled kid, right? Because these people have an opportunity in the school that nobody gave them. They're like, wow, my whole life I've worked for this. I got the one shot, right? They do their homeworks, and I have people who are anywhere from 20 to 65 years old. And they're like, I will prove a point. I got judges from Venezuela.
Wow.
I got attorneys. I got all kinds of people, right? And the hunger and urgency they have, you can't match it with these other kids that mommy and daddy have money, and you go to school and they spend 60 grand and whatever, I have a trust coming. My students are like, if I don't make it, I got no shot. And that's a good environment to be in, because they're hungry, right? And you can't teach
hungry is good.
You can't teach hunger. You can't teach drive. You can't
motivation.
Teach people who are motivated and they're appreciative and they're like, I'm in this country and I'm going to make the best out of this, and let's go. That's priceless.
That's exciting, Robert.
Yeah.
I'm
proud of my students.
You faced multiple university rejections early on, moments that break many people. What was the internal conversation you had with yourself during that time?
conversation was one day, you're not gonna regret not accepting me because of me, right? I'm a person. One day you're gonna regret not accepting me because I'm gonna be taking your students. And your students are gonna apply to my school because I'm providing them the education that you couldn't. Because you didn't trust in someone like me, who had nothing to offer you tangible, but you have my drive, my motivation, my loyalty. I was gonna make your school proud, right? Like I was gonna make you, but you didn't choose me. You chose instead somebody else with money, that parents had a pretty last name, and the odds are they didn't really do nothing for the school. You woke up a monster, and now this guy's saying, my education and my school and my values will be better than yours. So you didn't gain yourself, it wasn't an enemy, right? Because Harvard has no clue who I am.
Right, you didn't become a bitter person and let it eat you up inside.
I said, I'm not, the only way I can make a point is by being just like you, by having a school just like yours, by having the same degrees as you, by having the same opportunities, the same 4-year degrees. I will become you and I'll make it better. Only thing they got on me is 200 years.
Right.
Right? And about a few $1 billion from the government.
Well, you have to start somewhere.
And rich alumni. It's okay, I got hungry.
Your alumni will be rich too.
I got hungry, motivated students who, I would put them against any other student.
When you talk about your days washing dishes and waiting tables as formative experiences, what did those jobs teach you that success later in life could not?
Boy, if I can make all my students be servers and clean plates, I'll make it a mandatory class.
Really?
Because I think that teaches you something that a quantum physics class can
Humility.
teach you. Humility, right? It teaches you to put yourself in other people's shoes and kind of like just become a sticker on the wall and see how people react and act. Because you only get to see humanity when you're serving, right? And you get to see kindness and you get to see the worst of the worst. And it is important to see that at an early stage, to say, I don't want to be like that. I don't care how much money I have or make. If I do, I will not be like that person. Because they're rude, the way their kids treat people. Like I have kids throwing up and the parents would be like, clean it. I'm like, it's not my kid, first of all. It's your kid. Teach them how not to like throw up in the middle of a restaurant. But teach them like education. Like if my kids throw up or dirty, I tell my 3-year-old, get down, get a napkin and clean it. Like, you don't have slaves. Like, she's a server. She's serving you food, right? You got it dirty. You clean it. Like, nobody's going to come pick up after you.
Exactly.
But when you see that in a restaurant, the parents are like, come kids, clean this up. Your kids are learning that, and your kids will be just like you. So I learned what not to do, right? You treat people with respect, and, you're not better than nobody. In fact, when I leave a restaurant, my wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, clean the table. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to leave it organized for when they come, it's clean. They're like, but that's, she's like, why? I'm like, because I had people be overly disgusted. And like, I'm like, dude, it's just not your house. Like, you think I'm going to, like, this is disgusting, but I have to clean it.
You
right?
feel obligated.
So now I feel like if my kids spill water, I'm the first one getting a napkin, and I'm like, going to the floor and cleaning it. And my kids see it. So my kids get on the floor with me and they're cleaning the floor.
Yeah. No one's better than anyone.
It's normal to them, right? Where maybe one day they're with their friends in private school and their friends act crazy and the kids are like, what are you doing? Like, you spilled that, you pick it up. Oh, your parents didn't teach you that? Hey, Dad, I can't hang out with these people. We're different.
And it'll spread like that.
And it'll spread like that.
Speaking of people watching, you've built your life around discipline when no one is watching. How do you maintain that standard today now that people are watching?
It's the same. I've never really done anything based on people. It's more about myself. You can be a very good liar. You can lie to people. You can get away with things. You can impress others. You can, if you create a fake persona, you can get away with things, right? But when you go home and you're on your own, you know who you are, right? And if you don't like yourself, then you don't trust yourself. And if you don't trust yourself, then you probably will quit because you don't believe in yourself. So everything I do is for me. Because if I say, hey, I'm going to open a school, I know I can do it. I've been there, done that, right? Like I respect myself because I respect myself in the sense that I know if I say I will do it, I will get it done. Because I don't lie to myself. There's things that I'm not good at, and I don't try right? Like I had a class in the university. It was a master's in AI. And I told the director of the school, of my school, hey, I quit. And she's like, what do you mean you
What a
quit?
bad student.
She's like, what do you mean you quit? And I'm like, I can't lie to myself. Like, I don't understand nothing you're saying here. So there's two things. Either the school gives me a degree, right? Which people would expect for that to be happening, right? Oh, whatever. He owns the school, he got a free degree, right? Or they say he dropped out. Why would he drop out? Because honestly, I couldn't do it. I wasn't a fail.
Right. You, at least you were honest with
I
yourself.
can't lie to myself. Because as is, I know there's a magnifying glass saying, his MBA, they gave it to him. So I know you're going to say that. So then I can't be dishonest because I know what you're thinking. So when you look at my grades, you're like, wait, he's the owner of the school? Why are his grades like that?
Nothing's perfect.
When you read my papers, you're like, he misspelled. Dude, I'm a student, right? I'm trying my hardest, and whatever I get, I get. But I cannot, with a straight face, tell you that I, who hate math and science, got a master's in AI. So I'm the only dropout of that class. And like really, I dropped out. Like if you look at my transcript, I dropped out. And I said, I'd rather do a commencement speech saying, congrats to those that survived versus, oh, we all deserve it. No, we don't deserve it. You know,
Yeah, it says a lot about the students.
I don't cheat, right? I'm the dean. I can't do it. So like the transcript of my thing, I dropped out of the master's.
Kelbert University was born from your own experience of rejection. How do you ensure your institution truly sees potential beyond numbers?
So, you know, I had a really funny story. One of the students that her daughter goes to another university, right? And which I found out this recently from the director of the school, that my student's daughter got kicked out of her university. I'm not saying a name, because she couldn't make the payment, right? The family was struggling, they couldn't meet ends meet, and they couldn't pay for school. So her daughter got kicked out of that university, because they said, if you don't pay, you're out. I don't care if you're in first semester, second semester, you're about to graduate, you gotta pay. Mm-hmm. Right? This is a business, you gotta
Crazy,
pay.
huh?
My student says, this is crazy, because I came to this little known school, and I said that I couldn't pay, and the first thing the director said is, do your homework, pay whenever you can, you need to graduate. She was crying. She's like, can you believe that my daughter's like institution has been around for hundreds of years? She's a young kid. We couldn't pay, and they told her, sorry, if you don't pay, you can't play. And you, that you're a school that you think you are the slick one, you told me, don't worry about the money, just graduate. She's like, I'm like, yeah, that's what we bring. Because we don't have boards of directors and all that stupidity of like, there's 100 people and nobody's the boss and nobody's in charge and people blame everybody.
Right, politics.
Your daughter here, and you know, I spoke to the boss, who spoke to the dean, who spoke to the superintendent, who spoke to the president.
It's like corporate and politics.
Long story short, screw your daughter. You don't got money. So then they're being hypocrites. Because how can you say you care about the kids' education in a public school that if they can't pay one tuition, you kick them out? So do you really care about the student, or is it a money-making machine? Right?
Yeah, there should really be other things in place to accommodate flexibility for the parents.
A school generating billions, right? You're generating billions, and you're turning down a student halfway through the semester because you couldn't pay. I'm negative. I'm in the red. I should be the one saying, if you can't pay, you're out, because I need $1 to fund my operation, right? And we're the ones saying, don't worry, like, don't pay, it's okay, just graduate. But the billionaire schools making billions, that they should be the one that says, oh.
They make no exceptions.
Nope, sorry, you don't pay, you're out. That's when I said, this is all BS, right? Like, nobody really cares.
You've said family is not part of your life, it's the center of it. Mm-hmm. How has becoming a husband and father reshaped your definition of success?
Becoming a husband and a father has made me an antisocial.
Oh, yeah?
Because people now tell me, hey, let's grab some lunch. And I'm like, how dare you tell me that? How dare you?
You know I have to get home.
How dare you lunch? Like, I didn't have lunch with my wife today. What makes you think I'm going to have lunch with you? Especially about business? Text me. It is a good deal, you say yes. And they're like, they don't get it.
We can Zoom.
They don't get it. They're like, oh, but happy hour. I'm like, dude, lose my number. You think I'm going to do happy hour with you? The best happy hours with my
I have
wife,
happy
and I can't
life.
do happy hour.
I have happy life.
I can't wait to go see my kids and be with my wife. Like, I don't know what you have going on at home, but you ain't going to catch me at a lunch or a happy hour or any like business meeting, like text me.
So nice to hear, you know?
Seriously, text me. If you have a good deal, text me. I'm going to read it and say yes. I don't need whining and dining. Just don't waste my time. And people don't get it.
That's beautiful. From Teleton USA to your work in education service is clearly part of your identity, Robert. When you look at your impact so far, what matters more to you, scale or depth?
I think depth. Because anybody can scale, right? But then the question becomes quantity and quality, right? And for me to do what I want to do, you have to have depth. You have to have quality. And it's only one of me, right? So I can only do so much. So everything we do, we just take it to a different level. And Teleton, as you mentioned it, is my pride and joy, simply because it's the only thing that I get to do that I'm helping people. Like,
tell us a little bit about
So
Teleton.
they're based out of San Antonio, Texas. And they have an amazing headquarters that they help kids, especially kids with cerebral palsy and kids with certain limitations that the parents can't handle, right? Imagine you have, and I'm blessed to have healthy kids, but imagine right now you have one kid that is limited, either a big health concern. So now you as a parent, you don't only have to worry about rent, you have to worry about work.
You need resources.
Resources, but now you have a kid that needs your 100% care and therapy and assistance. And now you have two other kids who might be upset that you're only paying attention to this kid in the wheelchair, that you're like with him all day. And your other two kids are like, hey, you don't love me. So those kids need therapy too. Because it's like, hey, your brother needs more attention because of his limitations. So Teleton USA helps out families completely, right? There's therapy for the kids. There's therapy for the brothers and sisters. There's counseling for the parents. It's like they see the whole issue and they said, okay, I know you think the only issue is your son in the wheelchair with cerebral palsy, but there's way more than that. Because your other kids need attention and you need therapy because you're not a superhero. You're going to break down. And your kid needs extra assistance. So they kind of see the whole playing field and you get to see them in action when you go, right? You get to see the families, you get to see the siblings, and you get to see some of these kids with limitations, with the right help, they can reach a different level, right? But every parent wants to know, how far can my kid go, right? Maybe you're limited to an X amount, but with the right therapy, maybe you can go where you can talk, where you can interact, right? How much is that worth for you to know what your kid can do?
Right.
You're like, anything. Like if my kid right now is nonverbal and can't walk.
Yeah, his strengths and weaknesses are...
How can I make him stronger? Like, can he become more verbal? Can he be more interactive?
And how can I foster his
And
strengths
how
as
can I
well?
foster his strength? Well, you need a full team. And that's what Teleton does. And you get to see the results of like kids have gone from 0 to 100. And you're like, wow, like...
Yeah, as an overwhelmed parent, it's hard to focus on the positive when you're busy dealing with all the negatives, to even notice what the kids' strengths are. Because as humans, we focus on the problems we need to deal with, you know. And parents like that are overwhelmed.
You have kids, right?
No, I don't actually.
No, but I'm saying, you have kids, the parents,
but yes.
Then there's problems. It's not like these parents are filthy rich, right? If you're a filthy rich person and you have a kid with that issue, you have more means
you have money to help.
To help. And even then, it's very frustrating because now it's 100% of your time. If you have a parent that barely can meet rent payments and car payments, but now that parent can't work because he has to focus on the kid. But then, how do you pay the bills then?
Something has to give.
You're a single mom, which the husband left you, and you have 3 other kids. It's like, how is it mathematically possible for you to be successful? You can't, because you have to be with your kid all day. So it's frustrating, and I think Teleton helps in that level of frustration that you're like, these are parents who are really trying, but there's only so much you can do.
This is in Texas, right?
They're out of Texas, yeah.
What is your role with them, and how did you get involved with this company from Texas?
I've become one of their ambassadors. Anything that they need help with, there's never enough ambassadors or sponsors or people that can donate, right? There's never enough, because right now I think they have a limit of either from 300 to 600 kids, and the applications of people applying to go, it's endless. So you're like, okay, if there was more funds and more resources, you can have an extra 1,000. Yes. So where are those 1,000 going? There's no place like this. So there's 1,000 parents that applied that They have no hope. Yeah. So you're like, man, like, how do we get another kid in here?
Got it.
How do we get another kid? How do we get another kid? How do we get another one? And you know, it's beautiful to see what they do.
Anybody who hears us who will probably have a hard time keeping track of everything that you do, but you're involved with Teleton USA, you're founder of the Founders Law and Kelbert University. Is there anything that I'm missing?
I don't know.
You might not remember.
I don't know. I think those are the important ones, you know? We have a foundation, we have a non-for-profit foundation that we just recently got approved, where I'm able now to help firsthand, just, you know, like I get to help people.
Awesome.
We have the law firm, we have the university.
You're a busy guy. You're a busy guy.
Those are the things that matter, right? Everything else is not.
If your younger self, the one receiving those rejection letters, could see you today, what do you think he would say?
You should have studied less. I'm kidding. I was always very clear when I was getting those rejections that it was not personal, right? I understand that this world has a system.
It's politics.
And there's certain ways, and I understood that I had nothing to show for on paper, right? Like really, I have nothing to show for except the fact that, hey, I'm gonna try really hard, which everybody says that. So then who's it and who's not? They'll never know until you give me a shot. But why would they give a Hialeah kid a shot at Harvard?
Right.
Unless you're like a genius with the craziest tests and the craziest things, which I wasn't either, you know? I was a hard worker, but I wasn't like a Elon Musk. So I understand why they did it, but now it makes me more open to really looking at the whole package in my students. Because I'm not looking for what they were looking at me. Like, I don't care who you are, what you've done, if you drive for Uber, if your parents are rich or poor, I don't care if you're young or you're old, I don't care about any of that stuff. You know, I look at you in the eye, I look at your application and say, why? Why do you want to go to school? My kids, my daughter, my dad. And you're like, done. I don't care if your SAT scores are X or Y. I don't care if you're, that means nothing, doesn't show me nothing. But if you tell me, you know, I have a daughter, I'm a single parent, and my daughter's in high school, and I can't be a hypocrite and tell her to study when I didn't go to school. Okay, so that's your motive. Your motive is that you want your daughter to go to school, and you have the opportunity, but you haven't gone to school. So how can you force her to do something that you didn't do? She's like, yeah, that's my motive. All right, you'll be all right.
That'll work.
You're going to pass your test and you're going to graduate because your motive is bigger than, you know, I'm going to school because mommy and daddy says I have to go to school so they can buy me a car. Right? Which, okay,
It's very common.
It's very common. But tell me, I've been rejected 100 times. I thought I'll never be able to make it, but I never gave up. And I saw you online and I trusted your school and I'm here and I promised myself that I'm graduating because this is my only opportunity. Sure, I believe you, right? Which you don't get that in a regular school application. Like nobody asks you
Especially not in Miami.
People tell you, can you pay for the school? How much do your parents make? So I can put you in the ranking of whether you're qualified or not. What are your grades? What's your SAT? What clubs were you part of? I was in dance club. I was a cheerleader. What does that mean, right? That means nothing. What do you do? I do Uber at night. I work in a car wash in the middle of the day, and I work at a gas station in the middle of the night. I don't want to continue this life forever. I want to be a professional.
That'll work.
That'll work.
You're in.
You're in. I think you got your priorities straight, right? Why would you study at night for a test? Because you don't want to be in a car wash forever, working at a gas station, doing Uber Eats, right? So you want to move on. You want to do better.
Makes sense.
I like you. Versus, they have a trust fund waiting for me.
From rejection to purpose, Robert Kelbert is proof that your story is still being written. Follow Calle 8 News for more conversations that inspire. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.